Artist of New Creations by Stacy. I am an Elite Dixie Belle retailer here in Ardmore, Alabama at the Rustic Willow and in Huntsville at University Pickers. So guys, if you're local, please stop in. I always forget to say that. Also, please subscribe so that you, if you don't already, so that you can, please subscribe. Whoops. Hold up. Had to turn the volume down. So distracting because it's behind. So anyway, I lose track of what I'm saying. So guys, hey, as you're popping on, just say hey where you're watching from. Ooh, happy Friday. Hey, Jennifer. Okay, guys, so let me just tell you, I have been up since 1:30 this morning going because I just couldn't go back to sleep. So why not get up and do stuff? So I'm just going to say my filter is probably totally broken today because I am like so exhausted. So I might be kind of quiet or I might just like ramble on and get lost in, you know, anything and everything. Hey, Elena, good to see you. I'm so happy you're here. All right. And I'm watching you guys over on my iPad. That's why I'm not looking at the camera over here. But anyway, guys, as I was saying, just subscribe if you don't already so you can get the notifications. Tonight, we are going to be doing the Masterpiece Moth. Oh, yeah, and if you watch on replay, hashtag replay, please. But we're going to be doing the Masterpiece Moth tonight. Wednesday night, I'm always live on Facebook, Wednesday night at 6 Central Standard Time, Friday night here on YouTube at 6 Central Standard Time as well. So last Wednesday night, we did the first layer on here, as well as the first layer of our faux wood finish. I've got this side to the next step, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to flip over to this side. We're going to use some mixed media on here, and then we're going to come over here, and we are going to do the coat with the trowels, and then we're also going to do our next step on the top. Hopefully, if I can get to that. We'll see. I don't know. It just depends on how fast I go and if I can stop talking long enough. I think I was on for like an hour and 10 minutes Wednesday night. I just couldn't stop talking. Hey, Denise, good to see you. How are you? Hopefully you're staying warm and the snow is melting some. Oh, I almost said, hey, Jennifer again. All right, guys. So I don't know why my voice is suddenly going. All right, guys. So we're going to start off here. So I want to tell you a little bit about this piece. It's been a little while now, but my cousin passed away, and I had the idea for this piece specifically when that happened. And so I told you I wanted to start incorporating like Bible verses and stuff like that into my pieces. And when that happened, I was just, my poor aunt, God bless her, she's lost 2 children in the last few years. So I just, you know, it's so hard because I can't even imagine. I don't even want to imagine. But you know, it's so hard when you lose somebody that you love, but at the same time, like, God's grace is so amazing that, you know, of course, all we have to do is believe in Jesus as our Savior, and we have eternal life. So it's really a happy thing, I guess, so to speak, is how I think of it for the person who goes. And I know I'm starting to cry. I'm trying to keep it under control. But anyway, so I wanted to do this piece, and well, you'll see once we get to the other side, but we're going to put some Bible verses on here. And like the whole theme of this is just God's grace for us. So sorry, guys. I'm going to get it together. I told you I'm super tired too. So like that probably just makes me more emotional right now. But yeah, it's a happy piece. It is, but it's inspired by something, you know, and also that's a lot of how I get out my feelings is through art. So, you know, that's what this piece is about. That's why I said the other night, Wednesday night, I said this is a special piece. But I never went into like the details or whatever else. So we are going to get started. And you guys, before I show you what I've done, I just want to tell you, I've just recently started using stamps. I started using them with texture, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous. Why have I not used these? Stamp and drawer sides. It's just so easy. So anyway, I say that because I've just made up my own little thing here. And I'm sure there's probably some other way that is correct, but I don't know what it is. So therefore, this is the easiest way for me and the easiest cleanup. So if you guys know about stamps, don't laugh. Or just tell me what it is that I'm doing wrong here. All right, guys, so I want to stamp on this side. And I don't know if you're familiar with the song, but, you know, God's grace greater than all my sins. So I wanted you, and I have another verse that I want to write on this side. I have John 3:16 on the other side. So I've got a stamp here with the letters. Oh, let me pop you guys down so you can see. I want to make sure you can, because I don't want to forget to pop you up. Let me move this back. There we go. All right, so if you can see here, I can never get these letters to stick reliably to this paper, you know, that makes sure you get your stamp on there straight and all that good stuff. So I really don't know what it is. I think they're basically supposed to stick on the back of here. And at one point in time, they did very well. Oh, thank you, Elena. I don't want to make you cry, though. This is a fun night. Like, but you know, that's why painting is therapeutic. Art is therapy, right? Let's see. My mom always used to say that death is hardest for those left behind. 100%. Exactly. That's exactly it. I just couldn't, those are much better words. I couldn't get it out in that way. I always, because you know, like when you're in it, if somebody would say that to you, it's like, that's not what you want to hear, you know, I guess, like at the time. But for me, it's different. But I always want to be careful with how I say that because, yeah, I don't want to offend anyone or make them feel bad or, you know what I mean, hopefully. Oh, Elena, I am so terrible. Okay, you guys, okay, quick story first before we start then. I got the most amazing Bombay chest. I would have taken a picture on it, but it's so heavy and I could barely get it out of the car. It's like a solid wood, this is a good size Bombay chest, but this is a much larger one. It's got like all of the carved wood on it, you know, like all the stuff. It's so amazing. Anyway, what was my point in saying all that? Oh, crying. So we go meet this lady. I've never met her before. She was so nice. The next thing you know, we were inside and she has like all this historical information for one of the towns in South Alabama and her family and everything. And it was just so touching, going back to the 1800s. It was so touching. And I'm just in there crying. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, no one else was crying but me. It is terrible. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's hormonal. Okay, anyway, guys. So I was just putting the A back on there. So what I've done here, because these don't stick and I probably should switch this out, but I think it'll work just fine for this one. So what I did was I took a piece of painter's tape, I taped it in the straight line here, and then I just kind of taped it down here and there so that I could make sure my stamps stick because, you know, I've been kind of playing around with them and they don't reliably stay on here. Like they might stick, but then when I go to put it on, they'll kind of slide or something. So I did this tape thing. Again, don't laugh. I don't know. I just thought of this. I mean, you could probably spray it. See, yeah, I do need to change it. The reason the A is not sticking is because I put this piece of painter's tape over the bottom thinking it would probably be okay, but it really isn't. But if I stop moving it so much, it'll stick just fine. The rest of the letters are fine, but that's kind of just my workaround. So if you have the same issue I have, then hopefully that's helpful. But I'm sure there's probably some better way to do it. I just didn't know what it was. I thought about spraying it with like the tacky glue, like for stencils and stuff, but that would just be too much to clean up. This I can just peel right off. So anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and put this on here. I really kind of want to put Mercy on here too, but I think I'm gonna leave that off. I think I just want this to be like specifically themed for Grace. Let's see here. And like I told you guys, I've had no sleep. So bear with me tonight, please. Just give me grace, please. That's perfect. Perfect topic. I need it desperately. Even when I have had sleep, I need it desperately. Guys, oh, of course my paint. That's the first color I need to use. And I double checked, but of course the first color I need to use is not here. So we are going to be using Anchor Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint. So basically that just means it has a primer. Oh my goodness, oh, it's behind me. Maybe I should have had a cup of coffee or a shot of espresso or a double shot. That might have done it. But, hold on a minute here. I'm just stirring it up. All in one, it just means that it has a primer that is 2 black tannins, which, I mean, means nothing for the piece that we're doing here. Also has protectant, a built-in protectant, which that would be good. But either way, I have to protect over this because we're going to be doing transfers. So, and we're going to do that here in just a minute. So we're just going to get I'm going to put a little bit more paint on here, guys. It doesn't take a whole lot. And you really don't want too much paint on here. I want it to be kind of distressed, but honestly, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't really matter too much. I'm just rolling it out to try to get some of that excess paint off. Ooh, it's stuck to the tape. But it doesn't matter too much because we're going to be doing that trowel painting over it. So this is just one of the layers that we're going to have of lettering. So it doesn't matter. It's pretty, like it's on here pretty good. This might come out pretty darker than what I want. But again, it really doesn't matter. And I think I am going to put this up here. And before I lay it down, I just want to make sure that I'm going across straight here. There we go. So see how good that holds those letters up there? I'm so happy I did this. All right. And see, of course, the A stuck. So see how it's not super dark. Oh, I knew I was going to do that. Sorry about that, guys. It's not super dark. It's still kind of distressed, and it's even going to look more distressed here in a little bit. So under that, Grace, I'm actually going to use some King Art pens. I'm going to freehand this, guys, because, again, we're going to be painting with trowels over it. I'm just reading your comment, Elena. That isn't what you want to hear when you're grieving. I didn't want to. Exactly. That's 100%, Elena. Can you just reword everything I say tonight? Because that's exactly what I mean. I just know I'm not saying it the right way. All right, so under this, Grace, I should have probably showed you guys the other side. I'm just looking for which tip that I want. You guys, these come in a set. They're not expensive at all. They are, I think, like $10. You can get them at Walmart. They have all kinds of different size tips. I mean, tiny, tiny down to, this is what I was looking for, was my brush tip. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, my lettering is not phenomenal. I actually, oh, perfect. So what I did on here was I just typed out in something like the font I want. I'm going to change it. I didn't spend a lot of time doing this, but it wasn't very big because it was just in the text. So I took a screenshot so I could enlarge it. So this is kind of how I want to write it, but smaller in this lettering. And it's just going to say grace greater than all my sins under it. So we are, I really don't know how big I'm going to do it yet. So let me just take off a long piece of tape. Yes. Yes, Denise. Thank you for saying that. I should have told you guys. Yes, this is the correct way here, but on camera, everything is reversed. And I can actually reverse it so that you guys, so let me see if, I don't know if I can do it while I'm live. Oh, I hope I don't mess this up. Nope, that's just reversing the whole camera. There is a way to actually have it so that you're reversed, but honestly, when I am live, I cannot look at myself in reverse. It messes with my head and I can't function. So you're going to see all of these letters in reverse, unfortunately. So we're going to come up here. Let me bring this over to me. You guys, and again, I'm just winging this. It's going to be you're going to see part of it, but a lot of it is going to be covered. So, and of course, I am not making sure this is level, just kind of making sure it's about right. So we're just going to write, how do I want to write this? I want to make sure this isn't moving. Sorry, I can't talk while I do this because I wish I had this up. Let me see if I can put this up. I need to look at letters. I don't letter a lot anymore. I used to, but I need to look at them. I'm not doing a great job, but again, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm not really following this very well, but yeah, I'm not following this lettering at all. It's just too hard to do it this small with such a big tip. But that's okay. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. That's why I'm winging it. If I wanted it to be perfect, I would have written it out first and traced it. But again, it doesn't matter. So there is one other verse that I want to do in ink, and I think, did I take a screenshot of it? I did. It's Corinthians 12:9, and it's grace is sufficient. I'm not going to write out like the entire verse, but I'm just going to write out the first part. And I actually think I want to run, this is going to be relatively small. And I think I want to run it just like up and down, maybe like right here. I want to make sure you guys can see and my head is not in your way. I'm going to try to keep it out of the way. And it's actually, let me read it to you so you know what the whole verse is. So I'm not like shortening it. I'm going to shorten it up, but It says, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. That makes me want to cry again. But anyway, so I'm just going to put the part where it says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So I want a fine tip for this, or not too fine of a tip. This is probably, well, actually I can tell you exactly what it is. Or maybe not, because I can't see. And I don't know where my glasses are. I probably should have put them on before I started trying to write little. This is an 8 tip, an 08 tip. So let's see. I think I'm just going to write, I want this to be short and more chunky, so let's see. And it's just regular lettering. My grace is sufficient. And you guys, I have a bad habit of misspelling things whenever I am doing stuff like this. Hold on just a second. Is sufficient. So I have to really pay attention, especially when I'm tired. There is no telling what could happen. All right, and so when I pull that up, by the way, I'm putting this tape down so that way I'm going in a straight line. I'm not going off or anything else. And I know this is tiny, but of course, on the paper itself, you know, this is about the same size as the lettering on the front. Let's see, let's do for you, kind of centered. For you. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting like the Y, the little tail on the Y. Let's see, making sure that's straight. But putting the little tail on the Y once I pull up the tape. For my power is made perfect. There we go. For my power is... Okay, because of where I'm at right now, I'm actually going to go to the next line because I do want to kind of keep it. I do want to kind of keep it like kind of short and blocky. Also, this ink takes a while to dry. It will not be dry by the time I protect it. And hold on, guys. Hey, sweetie, I'm on a live. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm okay. Bye.
Okay, love you. I'll call you after.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Sorry.
It's okay. All right, sorry about that. That was my daughter, and I just didn't want to... They're getting ready to go out of town, and I didn't want to not answer in case, you know, something was going on. Let's see, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So let's start it about right here. Perfect. And kind of trying to keep it a little bit centered, but you know, we're winging it, so I'm also writing on a curve. Let's see, perfect and weakness. Okay, let's do 2 Corinthians 12:9 underneath here. I kind of went off a little bit, but it's just because of the way I was writing. So let's do 2 Corinthians 12. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be painting over a lot of this. Well, not painting over. It'll still stand out a bit. And I'll bring you in and, of course, show you a close-up. So this takes a very long time to dry. And we're going to top coat it after we put everything on. And I'll get to the why we're doing that in just a minute. Normally I wouldn't, though, if the transfers didn't need a top coat before I put paint over them. So that's actually why I'm going to top coat. Did you say? The painter's tape isn't taking off this paint, you mean? So this paint has sat, actually it hasn't even been 24 hours on this side, but it's dry and hard enough that the painter's tape won't take it off. Oh, no. So, Elena, I totally could have said that, but that is not what I meant. I have the painter's tape on there. Let me show you. See how this A keeps falling off? If I wanted to keep these straight and use this graph as it's supposed to be used, my letters are really supposed to stick so I can have that straight line and just stamp them on. The problem is that they don't. And so I wanted it to, so I just put the sticky side of the painter's tape on here. I just laid it flat with the sticky side facing out, and then I took little pieces and taped it down. So that way my letters would stick and I could still get, you'll see especially why on the other side, but it would stick and I could make sure they went on straight and were equally spaced and everything else. I just didn't trust myself to do that. And also with bigger stamps, like I think I'm going to do the same thing, because with bigger stamps, it's hard for them not to shift if they don't stick on here thoroughly. So I'm just going to stick that one up there because I am. That was the last thing I'm doing. The only thing I'm doing with the big letters is putting the grace. All right, so I've got that verse over here. I have a bunch of, this isn't going to be my only layer of wording, by the way. This is just the first layer, because when you look at this, you have several different layers of lettering. You have like the dark lettering that is, most prominent. What is that? The foreground, like it's in the foreground. And then you have this smeared kind of lighter lettering. And that makes it look like it's a little bit more in the background, and it's had like a paint wash over it. And what I was telling you about this ink really takes longer to dry. So if you use ink, you really want to wait a bit before you put a water-based protectant over it. In this case, I actually want it to smear out a little bit. It's still going to be readable. You'll see when we get to it, though. It's still going to be readable, but it's going to not be so dark. If I wanted it to stay this dark and everything else, then I would have had to wait. It's going to appear more distressed. So I'm just grabbing some of my leftover transfer sections, my scraps. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just grabbing it. I think the ones I know I want to use here. All right. I don't need that. All right. So transfers, super easy to work with. You can put them on directly on the paint. If you're using a clay paint, it's easier to protect it and then put on the transfer, because otherwise you have to rub a lot harder because it just doesn't stick as well. But with the chalk paint, no problem putting it directly on the paint. You can also put it on the protectant, either one. You do want to, the recommendation is your paint is on for 24 hours before you put this on, just to make sure it's nice and dry. There's no moisture still in the paint to come out. In this case, like, this is a super thin coat. It's super dry. I'm going less than the 24 hours. And I mean, the more experience you get with that, like, I rarely wait 24 hours unless it's for some other reason to put on a transfer. But, I have that experience. I know when it's okay to put it on. Transfers don't like moisture. So if you put it on too soon, you may either have a problem with it sticking immediately, or it may stick immediately, but over time that moisture, and not over a long time, we're talking pretty quickly, that moisture will kind of make the transfer start to like peel a little bit. So you want to be thoughtful about that. So let's see, we're just going to take... I kind of am looking at the front. I am using different lettering than the front, but that's not really a big deal. What I'm going to do here is, I think under this, I'm going to put some more... I'm going to add a little bit of lettering under here. And by the way, this doesn't actually really say anything. I'm going to shorten it up some. I just want to make this a bigger section. And again, there's so many things going over this that it is not critical that it's perfect or that it makes sense because, you know, obviously this isn't even the same lettering. But it doesn't have to be. And I will be doing, I have some butterfly stamps that I'll be putting on, but like that'll be after the last layer of paint. And I'll do more lettering in between this second layer that we're going to do tonight and the final layer. The final layer really isn't a big deal. It's just going to be to bring everything together, make it look cohesive, and make it kind of match the front. And all I'm doing, by the way, the transfers, I didn't even tell you guys, they come in 2 sheets like this. You just take off your clear one, the transfers on the back, stick it down, and then of course we're just rubbing it as I'm peeling it back slowly. You guys, these transfers have come so far in the last few years. It used to be that the halos were really evident and, you know, you had to rub a little bit more. And that's still the case with some of the transfers nowadays. But you had to rub a little bit more. But most of these newer transfers, just some of them, actually there's a new line out now. I just got them in, the Luxe transfers. And they just like stick on. No rubbing required. So, you know, it just depends. Let's come up here and let's actually do this. Let's see, how do I want to run? Maybe up like this. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this here. I'm going to do this whole section. I want to run it. Actually, though, let's do it here. And I'm going to, I just want to make sure I have it relatively straight. And I think so. Just kind of, yeah, this is good. All right, so we just peeled off that back. I'm going to rub it down. Now down here, this is cut really close to the letters, so I'm actually going to take another little piece of plastic that I cut off. It's been a while since I've used transfers, guys. Just gonna lay that down and rub that bottom section on. That way, this hard part isn't like scratching into my paint or doing any damage there. So we're just going to kind of go over the whole thing, make sure that it is laid down. Making sure everything's sticking here. You guys, letters sometimes take a little bit more as well, just because they're so, it's not like all one sheet that you're laying down. Each letter is independent. So you have more points that you're peeling back on as opposed to one whole section. Hopefully that makes sense. And all I'm doing is rubbing the section here that I'm peeling back just to make sure it comes off a little easier. If you peel back like right there and you have a spot that isn't stuck, just lay that plastic paper down and just go back over that section. And we're getting down here where I have those small letters that are right on the edge. Just being a little more careful there. Slowing down right there just to get those letters off and up. There we go. And then I've got like some of the edges that are not adhered fully. So just want to go over it. I'm just using my finger. I used to use a finishing pad, but the main reason I use the finishing pad is they didn't go on as easily, I feel like, as these newer transfers do. And a lot of these are newer transfers. This is actually an older transfer, so we'll see how that goes. And I don't know that I want to do this super dark one. Do I want any little sections here? Let me think about what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think I do want one running kind of across this way. And I think I'm just going to make it these again. And let's just cut off a little section here. And just run it right across there. Yeah, no, I think kind of offset it a little bit. Do I want to, or do I want to go all the way over? Definitely don't want to run it that way. I think I want to about right here. I'm just kind of scratching that on. What did I do with my little, oh, there we go. And of course I did all that. This is, I think, probably slightly running down a little bit. But again, if this was the final thing, like that would make a difference. But in this situation, it is going to make no difference whatsoever. And you can automatically, you don't have to rub it down this well. This just, I think, makes it release easier for me as I'm going. Or you can go, once you have it kind of stuck down, you can go immediately to peeling it back. But, you know, when you rub it like that first, it just had a little section that wasn't sticking too well. So lay that back down. But when you rub it first, it is a little easier to just peel off. The reason I really like doing it this way, though, is because it adheres better overall. I have less areas that are kind of pulled up that I have to worry about. If I rub it down, it releases easily. And then if I rub it as I go in addition to that, I think it just goes on better. Especially with these letters. There we go. So perfect. All right, so I need to protect over this. The only reason is because of these transfers. And honestly, I just could protect over the transfer areas and that would be fine and move on. But I just protect the whole side. I mean, I'm already here. I'm already doing it. So what's the harm? One more coat of protectant on the final product. I think that's pretty good. You guys are so quiet tonight. It's Friday. It's almost the weekend. You guys, Friday is my weekend for me, though, because I have the kids Monday through Thursday. And they come at like 6 in the morning, and they're here until about 4. Between 4 and 5, but usually around 4. So, and then plus I usually try to paint for a few hours. So like Friday is my kind of my unwind and just paint and quiet day, but it didn't quite turn out that way today. Okay, so what I was telling you about, this ink is not going to be dry, right? Actually, I'm going to start down here. When you're protecting very, very little protectant, this is a synthetic brush. It's an oval medium. It holds tons of paint. I don't even have look at it from the side, hardly anything. You will have too much protectant if you really do more than this. This is going to go a long ways. I started a little up from the bottom just because I wanted to, I started a little up from the bottom just because if I start down here, I'm going to have a huge buildup. It's going to start to dry before I can even get the, that is why I was being careful. Okay, did you see that, guys? I actually didn't mean to do that. Watch this. Okay, let me get to this part. That's why I actually offloaded down here too. So even less protectant. You see that? Like hardly any. This is where my ink is. My ink is not dry. This is going to kind of distress it out a little bit. Let's go up here. So I'm actually going to dab it on because when I brush it, it is going to smear all over the place. And I'm okay with that, actually. I kind of want that because it's actually giving me a very rustic or a very watercolory look like this. Normally, I don't do this. Normally, I wouldn't go over the ink. I would let it dry and then actually protect over it. Really? But this is going to lighten it up and it's going to make it match more the lettering over there. It's also taken some of that ink and moving it around, so it's almost creating a little aging. So I only did that there, guys. So back to talking about protectant, and I'm going to go around this area. It really doesn't matter at this stage, to be honest with you, but I just want to give you the tips if you were, say, on the last stage of protecting. You want to make sure that you go from a wet area to a wet area. You don't want to go, what am I trying to say? Okay, so that's the last of my stripe. I have some over here that's starting to dry. I don't want it to get too dry. I actually come in about this much. I came in to offload the paint, or not the paint, but the protectant. And then I'm just bringing it into each side. You guys, this is an odd one to talk about this with because of me staying away from that. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, so this is almost drying. Here's the line right here. This is how much protectant I put on my brush, and believe it or not, this is going to be a lot. You get streaks because several reasons. One, too much protectant. Two, you've got an area that's drying, and when you go over it, like say if I put this right next to it, I have to move this protectant around. I would have to move it all the way over here, and then I would end up with streaks because this is drying. It would start to pull back some when I was trying to put this very wet on because it was reactivating. So here's the last place my protectant is. I'm actually coming almost like a full brush width away from there. I'm offloading it, not at the bottom, kind of more in the middle. And then I am it's very light, so I'm just bringing it up to that line, right? And then I'm going on up. I'm going to do the same thing coming over here because this is all done. I had to stick my finger in it because sometimes it's really hard to tell. Yeah, it's done. So this is the only section right here that is not protected, right? And that's because I have this ink. So I'm going to do the same thing. First, I'm going to come almost a full brush length away to offload. I'm going to bring it up, and I'm just going to go right up to that line so I'm not going over so that I don't get a streak. Now, we're coming to, again, where this is wet, so I don't want to have, because I hardly have anything on here. We're just going to dab, dab, dab. Got a little bit, I think, up here that I've got to bring together. I'm dabbing more on here, not because it needs to be protected more. I actually need it to smear out some more. I don't want it so perfect. There we go. And by the way, you can dab on protectant. That's not going to do anything. That's generally what I do when I'm protecting like over molds or anything else like that. But the reason that I had to use this protectant is because you do need to protect over a transfer. Now, transfers don't like all protectants though, so it does need to be water-based, but you don't want a waterproof protectant. A waterproof protectant has like an extra little ingredient in it that the transfers do not like. You also don't want to protect with anything oil-based because oil-based directly on the transfer will also make it peel or potentially crack. So, anyway, we're going to put the lid on this, dump this in the water over here, and we are going to switch to the other side where we are going to go into adding our second coat. I can't believe I've been on here for 45 minutes already. I must be moving really slow. Guys, I always move slower though when I'm on a live because I'm more thoughtful. And by the way, did you see where my wheel was about to roll over my transfer? If something this heavy rolls over the transfer, it's likely going to damage it. So it may cause it to stick to that white backing. So you want to be careful with that. I haven't really rolled over it with furniture, but I've been sitting on my, my rolling stool, my work stool, and rolled over it, and I have damaged a transfer that way. Oh, my tape is sticking to the wheel. Let me get this turned around, guys. There we go. These rollers are not really the best. There we go. All right. So this side, I did earlier. Hold on. I've got to put the paint back on I did the mixed media on this side earlier. And so I did the God's Grace. I did put too much paint over God. And I wasn't doing that tape thing and it slips. So it's kind of like off. But again, doesn't matter because we're going to be painting over this. Just trying to make sure that I'm not missing anything. No, you guys are so quiet. I'm wondering if I'm getting the comments. I know it's a Friday night, though. Sorry about that, guys. I was dying of thirst. All right, I want to be able to kind of see the front a little bit as I do this so I can kind of lay out and plan my colors. So I've got some trowels out here. And then I've got a few palette knives. My favorite palette knives, guys, are the ones that are straight, flat across. I don't do as well with these kind. If I'm painting on furniture, these are my favorite palette knives. One of these, you can add a little texture with it. It's got like the sawtooth top. Clearly, I don't clean them. Sometimes I let my paint dry on them. And so I've also got a couple different brushes out here. I want these to be rough brushes. When you want that brush stroke free finish, that's when you want to go with synthetic brush. Because I think we're going to do, you've seen me do the dry brush before, but I think I'm going to do that on the next live. We're just going to get through this since I've had you on for so long. And then I have the premium chip brush, which also doesn't give you, it's going to give you a rougher, more textured finish. Same with the synthetic chip brushes. And I want that specifically because of what we're doing. I also do have the top of the piece that I kind of experimented a little bit on, so I can get an idea of where I want my colors and everything else. I also want to kind of see where I'm at on the top, and I don't want to dump this whole thing over. So we're going to kind of start off on this corner. We've got a flamingo light color up there. You guys, my screen looks so dark. Hopefully the colors are showing up better for you. It looks a little better over here on my iPad, but still dark. I don't know why. All right, so that's more like flamingo, which is kind of this flamingo color. We're just going to shake it up. All right. And for the most part, I'm going to be using the trowels where I don't have these Bible verses and I don't want, or I want more to show. So I'll be using that. You guys, I'm going to end up being like really skipping around. So in conjunction with that, because I want to be able to kind of lighten it or, you know, change it a little bit as I go. So I'm just going to go ahead and open my apricot so that I can shade that flamingo out, you know, and those are, of course, similar shades, that flamingo and that apricot, or tones, or I can't even think of the right words today. All right, so I've got some Yankee blue because we have, let me just show you on here. The colors are slightly different. We talked about this the other day because of like what color you put under the paper. So we're gonna get some of our, like a darker blue. I don't have an exact, so I'm gonna open up this Yankee blue. And you guys, I am actually out of dusty blue. I told you we were using, ooh, and this is perfect. I want to show you something. This paint, look at it. It's not bad. I could actually activate it. As long as it's still a little mushy, you can put water in it, stir it up, and I could reactivate it to, you know, be just as thin as this paint right here. But for projects like this is perfect. So I'm not going to do anything there. I'll be able to thin it out with another color. But I told you guys we were using dusty blue. That was kind of not true. I didn't realize it. I kept looking at the color and I kept thinking, this really doesn't look like dusty blue to me. Like, what's going on here? I think I put some pure ocean in this. You can see, I saw the bottom of it. I can send it. So this is the color I mixed up. And we're going to use that. I'm going to be able to lighten that inky blue or whatever. I do have some haint blue colors over here as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that out. There's really quite a few colors in here, and I love to use all the colors. So we've got lemonade. I think last time I only used that on the last coat, but I went ahead and got it out. We've got some tans that are in here as well as some purples, of course, in the butterfly. So I've got amethyst there. I've got secret path here. I didn't shake this one up. And I don't think I showed you amethyst. This is amethyst here, guys. So bright purple. Secret path is more of a dusty purple, so it'll tone down that amethyst a little bit for me. The Lucky Lavender is a bit too bright for this, so I didn't mess with that. And then I have some very basic toned down neutrals that are kind of in the background here as well. I've got a cobblestone, and I'm going to open up my sandbar, which we used before as well. Guys, you don't have to use all these colors, but I have them available. They're in here. And, of course, I like to go all out. So, I mean, this finish right here, I think would look gorgeous with this. Maybe in a different color, or even this color with some aging to it, you know, in various ways to neutral it up a little bit. There's a lot of things you could do. If you wanted to just go one color to, this this decoupage paper would look amazing with Anchor too. That would be gorgeous. And then some like, just whatever you wanted, antique gold, golds, whatever. Guys, I think I'm going to add chameleon wax to this too. I'm thinking the lilac and the apricot would be pretty on here. Anyway, let me get to the point. See, I'm doing it again. All right, so I want to keep it a little bit light. I'm going to start with a palette knife. Oh no, hold on. Before I even start, I've got to grab my baby wipes, and they are all the way over here. Probably not the best view. I'm glad I really didn't get to see that. So, let's see. All right, guys. Let me get to it. So, I think I thinned this out, but I'm not going to thicken anything up. I don't even really need it that thick. But this is our apricot. And I'm just going to start over here by smearing it. You guys see? Yeah. See how far it goes over to about right here. We're just going to smear that out a little bit. Let's go down here because there's a little bit that kind of drop down. So we'll just put this apricot down here too. Going in kind of different directions. It's going to give me some different kind of textures. But see that nice chippy kind of, I'll bring you in, like I said, for a close-up. I need to bring you back to the other side too. Last time I took my camera off though, I totally disconnected us. So I'd rather kind of be a little more careful with that. All right, so over here, actually, of course, the one color I didn't open, I think I want to put a little terracotta over here mixed with the apricot. And I've got flamingo on here already. So I'm just going to dip my brush kind of in here. Come over here with that apricot. Or by where we got the God's Grace. And I want it. Okay, baby wipe. I got the protectant on here so I can actually, I don't want it all gone. I just want it smeared over because I want you to be able to know what this says. But I don't want to necessarily want it like bright like this. So I'm taking a little bit of terracotta and I'm going to go over this same section. And I'm doing that because I kind of want to more so mix these together a bit and create. I want this to be more apricot. So the best thing is once I get most of the paint off my palette knife, that's when I'm going, I'm going to kind of dab that. Actually, I'm just going to wash it off and then watch this. Now that I don't have much paint on my palette knife, I can really create that more chippy and have better control over how much is going on there. So now that we're coming into the center section, that's where I want to bring some of these like lighter blues in. So let's come in with a little bit of dusty blue. I want to be careful in this section as well. So let me start here with my dusty blue. I want that eternal life to really show. Or at least I want you to know what this is. You don't have to be able to read every word necessarily, but... And let's take a little bit off this as well. You guys, this top section is a little bit harder because when you're coming under that top lid, you can only do so much. So I've got quite a bit off here. Just gonna, I'm going the other way so I can kind of scrape it more. Because I want it all over there. I just want it, I want that verse to eternal life to stand out. And we're going to come in here with a little tad bit more of our flamingo right here. We want our undercolors to show through, so this is perfect. I'm going to come in with a little bit more flamingo in that center part here. You guys, I love painting with a palette knife. Just consider it like abstract painting. Don't think too, like you don't have to think too much about it, nothing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe these colors off. I want to come down with a little bit of my cobblestone from here. I'm just barely dabbing it, kind of dabbing it on where we're coming over to this gray section. Oh, see, I got more than I wanted there. By the time I get to the other side, I'll have a better idea. Right now when I'm doing this first part, I'm really just kind of figuring out what I want, how to achieve what I want more so. Because I like to experiment with a lot of different styles. I just feel like it keeps it interesting. Took a little sandbar and I'm going to make a few lines here. And that's how I'm going to kind of run that up above this grace here. There we go. Perfect. I love how that looks. Very lightly tap in. If you flip this over so you're not using this flat back side, only the tip will touch, and it's a really nice way to like drag down and make some nice little straight lines there. All that good stuff. So let's come down. We're going to come into the trowels because I'm going to be working with a bigger space here. And we're going to dip it into that not dusty blue color, that dusty blue mix. Like, I don't need all of this to show. So see, I can cover a much larger area. So when I can, I do want to use that trowel. Definitely not what I wanted to do there. So baby wipe it off. So really it's good I did this for more than the ink because I really thought that I wouldn't need to wipe this much back. So that's actually really nice that that I have that protectant on here. So let's bring some of this blue over in here. We're just going to kind of stripe it through. See, I need to go back to this one because I'm actually creating texture that I don't want here. I just want the chippy. And when you pop it back, it'll create this crackle-like effect. I'm going to bring you in so you can see. I'll leave that one particular crackle there. All right, I'm going to pick up a little bit of extra blue here. I'm also creating some texture. Actually, I don't even think I'm going to end up using my brushes. I'm just creating the texture with the palette knife here like this. Bring some of that over into here. I don't want this I want this God's grace to really blend but be visible as to what it is. So I'm trying to be very careful where I put the lines, but I need them over here so it doesn't look like it's all off on its own and part of a different piece. We're going to come back. You want to be careful when you're going over these sections because that's not dry. And I'm coming over it with the blue. I don't necessarily want to mix it. I'm going to dip. Oh, and that's nice and thick too. This Haint Blue is perfect. Haint Blue is the super light blue. I want to come in here with some of that. And I want to kind of blend it. Let's go ahead and kind of create a nice little texture there. Scrape some of it back. If you want the chippy look, that's when you lay the palette knife down and drag it. That gives you chippy. If you want the crackle look, that's when you lay it flat and pop it back. This is kind of drying already a little bit, but I just did that here. Lay it down, pop it back. That'll give you a little bit of a crackle. If you want some of those nice lines, you're just gonna, if you have paint on it, it'll make the lines in the paint cover. When you don't, and your paint is still slightly wet, it'll give you texture lines. So that's what I'm doing now, are the texture lines. And then the other way, like if you want to make, for example, I want to make a Haint Blue line here. Well, my Haint Blue is so thick that that's not really working. But, you know, you can lay it down and then just kind of drag it on the opposite side. So the side that should be the top, lay it down, drag it like that, and it'll make a nice little line. Actually, I'm going to do some of that through here. Perfect. Love how that's looking. All right, that's a little bit excess Haint Blue. I don't really want that there. I'm going to leave some of this blue on here. I'm going to come back with some of my apricot. And we're going to come up kind of into that blue. And when it's very little, I'm coming back over I'm doing purple over here, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But I want to I like to skip around like this too, because it gives my paint different levels of kind of dry time. So crackle, drag. You can drag it that way, or you can drag it up and down. Either way you want. There we go. All right, so let's move to some of our purples. I think I'm going to leave this blue on here a little bit. So I do not want a whole ton of amethyst. I actually want it to be more dusty, but I need this dusty to be just a tad bit brighter. So I've just put my secret path over it. I'm starting in the middle because I don't want to put this all in the corner. I'm going to kind of mix these colors on my piece. Now that I have less paint, I'm coming down to that crease, trying to get more of the paint off my palette knife before I start going over this section here. Just smearing it out a little bit more. Like I said, I'm actually mixing the paint to brighten it up some on my piece. So that's why it's a little bit, I'm gonna come back to this palette knife because it's gonna give me a little bit more, ooh, that's so pretty. I've never mixed this with apricot, but that's a gorgeous new purple color. All right, anyway, sorry, I totally digress. So we're gonna come back over here, get some of this purple. Like I said, I want you to still know what this says, so I don't want to go over it too much. Now, I do know that if there's some more later that I want to come out, I will take the ink and I will kind of just line out certain sections, is my plan. I haven't decided 100%. I should have got out some coffee bean, but you know what? We're going to do it with black right here. I'm going to open this anchor back up. I'm actually going to take one of these palette knives I told you I don't like as much, and I'm going to dip it into my anchor, and we're going to do just a little bit of this black. I don't want to mix it in, so I'm being more careful how I put it on here, and I don't want a whole ton of it. Go along the edges, almost like a dry brush. You can do the same kind of thing. I just want it here and there. I'm going to have to come back in and do this with coffee bean as well. I just don't have it out. And I'm kind of scooting back. I'm really liking how this is looking. I think I want to come in with some flamingo. I'm kind of offloading it here. So, you know, I want it off my palette knife a little bit because I don't want to cover everything up. And I'm getting to a point I don't really want to be wiping it back because I'm really getting into the layers. You guys, I'm going to let you off here in a little bit too. I won't keep you a whole lot longer. I definitely want to, I just want to get this rest paint. Are you guys okay with being on here? Oh, hey, Janet, good to see you. Oh, thanks, Elena. It's really just an abstract painting. And as a matter of fact, I think I would like to do some of these on canvas. Guys, I'm just having fun right now. I'm in no rush. Okay, I didn't wipe the paint off, so I've got it too mixed up there. I don't want it that mixed up. So I just wiped it with my baby wipe, and then I'm going to press down really nice and hard, and I'm going to kind of move it out. I really kind of covered up this one more than I wanted to probably, but again, I can always go back and put it in. Guys, I hate to say it, I'm having a hot flash. I have got to get the sweatshirt off. Give me just a minute. All right. Whew. Goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel like I need an ice pack. You guys, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what I'm going to do in summer because some of these 15-degree days, I just walked outside in a t-shirt And it felt great for about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not going to have anywhere to escape to. Oh my goodness. Oh, perfect. Don't forget, well, remind me to show you guys these things. We did them a long time ago on a live. I forgot all about them, and they're finished, but I just found them. And I thought, I never posted a picture. I never took a picture. I don't even think I ever talked about them again. So anyway, I just found them. I'll show them to you. I know I'm going so slow right now. I'm going to come back in, and I'm just going to take Secret Path this time. I still have some of that, amethyst on my palette knife. But we're just going to, I actually should have done this section with a trowel. The paint has just about dried on this trowel. See if I can dip it. There we go. Guys, I'm trying to make sure I'm listening. I want to make sure my mom doesn't walk outside because there's too many fall hazards. She doesn't listen to me. Sorry. Just had to make sure everybody was safe right quick. All right, so we're just gonna, again, I'm gonna come up because I don't want to go all the way down to the crack there and get all that paint stuck in. And we're just gonna pull that up because I want that to be kind of a large purple section there. It's just gonna be easier to do with that trowel.
Well, there you are.
And we're gonna go ahead and take our Yankee blue. And actually, I want to go over this with some of this. I'm trying to hurry up because I feel like I'm just keeping you guys and chatting. And I want to put some of this purple down here as well. I'm loving these colors. It is just so pretty. So bright, so springtime. It's just making me happy. All right, do I want to bring, yeah, let's put just a tad bit more. Well, let's come in here with this blue first. Oh, and this is the textured one. That's not the one I want. Kind of actually turned into like almost a dark purple because I had that Secret Path. This is Yankee blue, but I had that Secret Path on there. So let's do this. Wipe that back. And let's, super thick. So let's just come in with some of our not dusty blue. It's really giving it that purple look. I'm going to leave it alone because, again, it's not like this is my last coat. I have plenty of time to switch it up a little bit. Let me bring some purple or some Secret Path into it. See if I can tone it down just a tad bit. All right, and then let's come in, wipe my trowel off. I think I have a clean one over here somewhere. Let me just grab a clean one. Yep. Not that it looks clean, but I'm going to dip it in some apricot here. And we're going to bring it down here, kind of up. Hold on a sec. You guys, and all I'm doing is kind of, I'm not really following the color pattern on the paper, but I'm just trying to keep it similar so that once we finish the last coat, it's very cohesive and similar to the first one, or to the front. It just kind of looks like they're from the same piece, I should say. Yeah, and I just got this mixed up too much. I was careful at first about wiping off my palette knife, and then I wasn't. I do that a lot too. So I'm just kind of trying to spread it around, give it some texture, give it a slightly different look. Let me slow down. This would be cool with some splatters on it too. I'll get a darker blue out and deal with that down there. let's go ahead and bring in some of this cobblestone. Again, we want some of those darker sections. I don't know. Oh, here it is. That's why. That is my textured one. I don't want to use it, but I do want to get that excess purple. That's what got me in trouble off of this palette knife. And let's go ahead. I'm going to dip in a little sandbar so we can give that some more dimension. Let's come up here. So this is starting to dry a bit, so I can go over it a little bit easier. And like I said, I'm going to bring you guys in. This is not my last coat, but it is close to it. So let's come in with a little bit of, I want to do the same thing up here. I want to come in with a little bit of sandbar. Let's come in with a little variation with some of this. I love these colors. They are so springtimey. Loving this. All I'm doing now is just adding a few colors here and there to kind of give it in different sections to give it a little bit more interest. Oh yeah, I'm loving it. Again, just making different little patterns, kind of taking a step back, seeing where an area might need just a little bit more in it. I think I want to go with a little bit of terracotta down here. That was a little bit more than I wanted. Now I don't want to mix it into that purple, but that's what's kind of happening there. Swipe that back. Okay, guys, and then I'm going to bring you in and show you what we got going on. Add in a little bit of apricot to tone down this terracotta a little bit. Want those letters to show through. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to add some of the darker blue back there a little bit later. But let me bring you in so you can really see what we got going on. Actually, sorry, I just want to add a little bit more of this anchor over here. I will definitely end up coming in with some coffee bean though. Some of these sections. I'm also going to be doing, let's go ahead and use that excess there, almost like a dry brush, but with a palette knife. Yeah, I don't have enough on there to do that, but I will come back. I did it with a brush the last time. Came back in and did some little streaks to kind of match where those pages went up and down and all that good stuff. So I'm going to take you off, guys. I'm going to bring you in for a close-up. Woo, it looks a little crazy on camera still, though. It looks really cool in person. I am loving it. Oh, thanks, Elena. I always feel like I'm just keeping you forever. It's been an hour and 20 minutes already. I mean, I'm just, and I'm going slow tonight. I'm just kind of enjoying it, to be honest. I was having so much fun with the palette knife there. This is actually one of my favorite finishes. It's one of my favorite things to do is to paint with a palette knife. I would love to get a little better at it and be able to make like flowers and all that good stuff. But for now, guys, I'm going to bring you in so you can see so you can see this Bible verse. This is John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. What's the whole verse there? And then see how chippy it is and how it's already starting to give like this God's grace part more of an aged look, a little bit of a covered up look. I can't even see. Let's see. I'm trying to look at what I'm going over. You can see where I should have taken off. Hold up. There we go. Where I should have taken off the purple, the blue and the purple. It mixed too much there. I'm going to go back over here. Oh, you can see where I ended up with that crackle effect, but I had to eventually stop. Hopefully I'm in the right spot. I don't know. It's a different timing. So I wanted to show you that. Now let me swing this around so you can see. Actually, I'm going to swing. Ooh, before I drop something on myself. Hold on, guys. All right. So I'm just going to actually slide over to this side. And I'll show you the close-up of the parts that we did over here. And this is why I told you, like, see that God's grace? When you look at it on the other side, it doesn't even matter that it was slightly a little bit crooked because because it came out once you start doing that palette knife over it, it just kind of covers that up. So you can see that smearing where I protected that. I know it's backwards, so it probably, you can't even read that, but in real life you can read that it says greater than all my sins. That's the transfer. We've got the verse and the transfer down here. You can see how it all smeared out. So what that's going to be like ultimately, see how it's kind of, only you'll be able to read it because it'll be real words. But see how this is smeared out on the front? That's going to kind of match that. So I'm always trying to bring things in the design. I'm always trying to bring it together and like pay attention to those tiny details. That's the transfer we put on. Guys, look at that. With these newer transfers, like no halos, they look like they are truly part of the piece. They don't look like a sticker or something like that. Make sure I don't go back into any paint. All right, guys, I'm going to stick you back up here. I think I had all the comments. It was kind of quiet tonight. So I'm going to put you back up here, just kind of swing through, make sure I did not miss anything. And then I will pop off. But let's turn it. Oh. Of course, it had to happen. All right, well, I'm not going to swing you back around. Actually, I'm just going to go. I think I hit all the comments. It's fine, guys. I'm okay. And I'm going to pick this up. I was afraid that was going to happen with these rollers, and I wasn't being careful. Oh, thanks, Denise. So, yeah, just crashed, but that's okay. It's going to be fine. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. If you don't already, please subscribe. I am going to, Elena. Clearly, I need it. You know what it was? I have so much that I want to get done, so much that I want to paint, and I've got a lot of things moving in the background for amazing things that are coming up, and so I'm just sleeping, and I don't know, it's like it wakes me up in the middle of the night. But anyway, and you guys aren't going to believe it. I'm dragging a little bit on finishing up the last piece because I'm trying to talk myself out of not redoing the sides. Because, of course, as soon as I finished the piece with the wax, I found the Just Paisley stencil that I was looking for that entire time to do the raised stencil. So I'm trying to talk myself out of not sanding off the raised stencil that's on there and redoing those two sides with the Just Paisley stencil. Anyway, have a good weekend, guys. Might be a surprise. Who knows what I'll end up doing. I think I need to put a sheet over it so I don't. Anyway, take care. Have an awesome night. Have an awesome weekend. See you Wednesday night. And, of course, I'll be posting in between. Bye-bye. Thanks. Right, exactly. Now it was alive, Jennifer. I haven't had anything major in a little while, so, we had to do something. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.